Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Katie and today we've got an old school scrawlrbox. So what does that mean, you ask? Well, way back last year, well not really way back, but kind of November time when there was the Black Friday sale, scrawlrbox got in on that too and was selling off some of its old boxes. I checked out the old website just to see if there were any bargains, and there was one box on there that I hadn't had, and that was the May 2019 box. And when I say I hadn't had them, that was the furthest back it could go before they were out of stock on all the previous boxes, if that makes sense to you guys. I got it for the princely sum of £5 and I thought, a box full of supplies for £5, we'll do that. And this is where we are today. And it's also super duper handy dandy because I received an email on this very day saying that the January scrawlrbox was running a wee bit late, so I thought it was high time I cracked this open and used it instead. Before we get going, the featured artist of this box is Cy Mitchell, and what a print, I like that a lot. Now, obviously this is an old box, so it's not really going to be a massive surprise as to what's in here, but for posterity we'll swatch it all out anyway. We have, to start off with, 4 Pilot Pinto markers, and they come in 3 sizes. We have 2 mediums, 1 fine and 1 extra fine. We also have a Milan graphite pencil in H, and it's got like a triangular barrel. It's very nice and ergonomic. And we also have the Milan 430 eraser to erase any mistakes, I guess. The Pilot Pinta pens are a lot like Posca's really, it's just another brand. To be honest, I didn't notice a great deal of difference between the two personally, but I picked this box up for £5 because you're getting a few paint markers for £5. Another thing that also interested me with this box was the Molotow liquid chrome, which is a very, very, very silver pen. The colours we have in the Pinto are gold, teal, white and black, and I thought the gold was kind of shiny, but this Molotow pen, very, very shiny. I don't believe it is an acrylic based one because it did have a bit of a smell to it, and that kind of suggests to me that it's like an oil based one, maybe alcohol based, but I think it was more oil based. It didn't smell great, but it didn't smell horrible for long, if that's any consolation. And of course, with it being an old school scrawlrbox, we only have 2 sheets of paper, and that's the Canaletto Liscio 125 GSM paper. It's got a touch of cotton in there, 20%, and then the rest's paper pulp. And I think we have everything we need to know about the contents. The scrawler challenge is Paper Tiger, which I guess makes sense based on the print. So I kind of took it upon myself to draw this odd little creation in front of us now. I thought I would draw a tiger girl. I know it's a bit weird, it's borderline furry, but I needed to draw it. So obviously it was all sketched out with that pencil, and any mistakes made were erased with the eraser, so those bases are covered. The character herself, I wanted to have a bit of a snarly mouth, but in a bit of a cheeky way, and I thought I would add some cat ears to her head. I lined all of this out with the black paint marker, which I'm sure you can see, and I must admit they were quite nice to use on this paper. I didn't notice any shredding or chewing, and I have found with paint markers, if you have slightly shreddy chewy paper, there's a bit of a trick. It doesn't always work, but it's going to work better than just hammering the page with the pen. If you don't press on too heavily and you make your strokes all in the same direction and try and avoid going over the same area a lot of times whilst it's still wet, then your shredding is down to a minimum. But I must admit, these work on very, very smooth paper or plastic surfaces best, so anything with a bit of a tooth in it, you're kind of asking for trouble really, unless that's what you want. Now it's time to get some tigery colours. So the gold is for her hair. I thought I would add a nice big fur coat, I suppose, keeping it all tigery, I guess. And I ended up going over the areas where that gold pen overlapped on the black outlines, and also saw it upon myself to add some hair details. Because she's got quite long hair, I thought, well, that can also indicate these tigery stripes. And I must admit, actually, once that gold layer had dried and it was time to go over it with the black pen, it worked so much better. And I kind of quite liked how it flowed out. Like I say, they're not really any different to Posca pens, and they're not that different to the loop paint markers that I got an upgrade a good while ago. I kind of think most paint markers are the same, really. So to make sure that the lines were all nice and flowy, I do find it helps to turn the page around sometimes and just let the natural curve that your hand makes draw those lines in, and that's quite a useful thing to do, and I should do that more often. I try to keep things pretty still on camera for you guys, but then if I don't show you these techniques, then you're not going to know to do it yourself if you're using this as a practice tool. Now, once I'd got the majority of the hair details done and out of the way with, it was time to fill those ears in with that gold pen. And it was time to also start adding some tonal variations, even though I had quite a limited palette. I went in and added some eyeshadow to our character and some cheekbones, and just filled in areas where there'd be shadow using that blue pen. Are shadows going to be that colour on this character? Probably not, but I'm going for a bit of a pop art look here. I actually quite like it. I think it's interesting. It's a way of loosening up and not being too concerned about what colours you've got and making the most of what you have. So, did any of you guys take advantage of, well, ages ago, the Black Friday sale on scrawlrbox? They don't do it very often, and I have checked again recently and the prices are all back to normal, but it is worthwhile just checking them out now and then just to see if they have some sort of flash sale, whether they're like, I need to get rid of this, because some of the boxes do have some pretty cool things in them, and I'm not sure if they're still in stock, but you know, the Viva ink watercolour, travel watercolour things, you know, the ones. I'm pretty sure they were on sale on the Black Friday thing, so if they still have them in stock and they want to clear them out, I'm pretty sure they'll probably be on there again. And if you can get them for a cheaper price, that's a really good deal. Anyway, back to the drawing. So I decided to fill the background in black, and I must admit, again, it went down beautifully. I took this as an opportunity to tidy up some of the edges as well, just so everything stood out a little bit more. And just go over some areas where I thought needed some attention. I thought our character could do with a few piercings, so that is where the Molotow marker came in handy, and I finished off some highlights using the white Pinto pen. Now, I thought that Molotow pen was pretty shiny on the neat paper, but as soon as it was over the Pinto pens, obviously to create a bit of a seal on the page, they were super shiny. I couldn't believe it, what a difference it made. So for the grand sum of £5, I'm pretty happy with this box. I feel like it's added to my paint marker collection, which can never stop growing. I do feel though that the majority of the boxes I've had do seem to put a lot of teal pens in there, and you should check out my videos and the unboxings to help me prove my point here. Every art subscription box that has paint markers in them that I've unboxed have all had a teal in there. Spooky, huh? Thank you ever so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. There's also a couple of videos on screen I think you'll like too. In the meantime, I'll see you soon. Bye!